On tonight's news, we tackle the controversial topic of racial profiling. I spoke with Owensboro Police Major Peterson in an eye-opening interview.
The problem of racial profiling.
Well, the Owensboro Police Department, and I've actually pulled it up here, we have a policy that's called professional traffic stops, and it addresses racial profile. It's not permitted here whatsoever. We don't tolerate racial profiling. And I mean, if you look at the policy, it outlines what racial profiling is. It shall mean unequal treatment of any person, including stopping, questioning, detention, and/or arrest on the basis of racial or ethnic characteristics, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. So, actually, guys could actually end up losing their job if they were found to be racially profiling. So,
Okay. How prominent is the issue in Owensboro? I mean, considering it's illegal, but
it's not an issue here as it is in some larger cities. Historically, there's been some issues with law enforcement and minority communities. They haven't always been treated well by law enforcement, but I think probably over the last 20 years, you've seen a significant increase in the amount of training and the amount of focus on the issue and trying to get officers to understand and abide by policy and law to not racially profile.
what are some of the tactics you guys use to make sure to prevent racial profiling?
Well, everything that the police department does is documented. It's documented either by the in-car camera system, it's documented by the paperwork that the officers do, every citation. Every citation has a person's name, their race and gender, as well as their age on there. Our supervisors review all paperwork. So if there's anything that looks out of the ordinary, or we have a particular officer that is outside the norm of arresting and or citing a particular minority or anything else, it's caught and dealt with. Now, one of the things when you talk about profiling, every citizen of Owensboro has the ability to file an official complaint. This is the end of our policy, but any person may file a complaint with the department or at City Hall if they feel they have been stopped or searched based on illegal profiling or subjected to improper treatment. So people can file an official complaint against an officer if they feel they've been treated unfairly or unjustly. And I also have some of our statistics from we call our professional standards unit is internal affairs. Are you familiar with that? It's the cop that investigates cops.
Yeah.
And he works directly for the chief of police, his office right across the hall. And this is statistically, if you look at in 2016, the last full year we had, there have been 26 complaints filed, formal complaints filed against police officers. Go back, of those 26 complaints, 13 of those complaints were filed by citizens of Owensboro. 6 of those complaints were internal, which means a supervisor thought that the officer was doing something improper. They did a formal complaint, and then 7 of those were actually vehicle accidents. All vehicle accidents are somebody in a city vehicle. So basically 13 citizens filed complaints.
Not bad considering a full year.
Yeah, we, in 2016, OPD responded to 38,605 calls for service. So we also conducted 8,848 traffic stops. As a baseline, we've dealt with at least 50,400 people in a year's time frame. So out of those 50,450 people, 13 people filed a complaint. So it's really not bad. I have the stat here, 0.025%. So it's not even a quarter of a full percent of the people complain. So As you can see, we've got a very professional police department. We really don't get that many complaints.
How many times have you been asked about racial profiling or interviewed or talked to or anything?
Not a lot, although, not just racial profiling, but the interaction with minority communities and police has been a big topic last 2 or 3 years because of the several high-profile police shootings,
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson, Missouri, Baltimore, Maryland, which, there were rioting and there were other things that happened. So a lot of focus has been put on that. Fortunately, in this community, we have not had anything nearly to that level. So.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you.
Sure. Hopefully you get something out of it.
I hope
Nice to
so.
meet you.